Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're taking a look at this Poulan 2150 Super Clean. Super Clean? Super Clean. So I've been starting to try my hand at porting saws. The first saw we ported and worked on was the Poulan Predator. This guy, we got a bunch of shorts and videos up. Cleaned it up, we got it running, and then we took it apart, we ported it, and we got a video creating a custom exhaust. Stuck a tack on there, and well, we've been having some fun with this saw. Quite a few of you seem to enjoy it, and it's been doing pretty good. This guy, pretty much the same deal, right? It's a 2150, that's a 2150. They're like 35cc saws. I don't even remember where I got this. It's been out on the shelf for a while. It's pretty filthy, as I do recall, though. It came in filthy, and it's just been gathering dirt and filth. Big difference, obviously it doesn't say Predator, and it doesn't really have a chain brake, it just has a hand guard. Other than that, I'm pretty sure these motors are still the same. So today we are going to go through, clean this up, and just see if we can get it running stock. And then at some point, I don't know if it'll be in this video or in another one, we'll do a cut for cut between the ported one and the stock one. After that, we're going to break this thing back down if we don't blow it up. And I'm going to see if I can port this motor even more and even farther than I did that one, and build a different exhaust. I want to do a totally different exhaust. We've built some custom pipes coming off the stock muffler, and then we also built like just this custom straight pipe with a little bend. There is something different I want to try once we port this one. So if you guys are looking forward to, or you want to see all that kind of stuff, be sure to give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and hit all. Let's get into it. So as of now, the gas lines on this thing are shot. Our air filter is shot. That spark plug, I don't even know. I didn't even look at it. But I know I drained the tank. Line and filter fell right out. So I'm going to be honest, jumped right on the old Amazon shopping center and ordered up this kit from a Harbot. I don't know. It's supposed to fit this saw though. It was like less than 20 bucks. I'll have it tagged in the description down below, guys. You guys shop, you buy this kit. Help support the channel, the videos that I'm making, and the work that I'm doing. And I do appreciate it. We'll also have some of the tools and things like that down there in the description of the video, okay? So if you got to get tools, you got to get parts, shop there. Help me out. Thank you. Let's, we got our cover off already. We just pulled our filter out. Inside of the filter box isn't horrible. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this bar and chain. Get this out of the way. It's easier to bring you guys in close this way. So we got our old filter off, our cover off. We checked. Is it worth it? Yeah, we're going to do it. Let's get this air box off. 8mm socket. Get rid of these two nuts. Get yourself a container to put your parts in, all right? So I already got gas line pieces laying down in here. You can tell these are pretty discolored and brittle. This is the point in time where it's a good idea to have your phone out here with you. Get this out of the way. And if you got your phone and you can do it, take a picture of your fuel lines here, okay? See where they run, because you want to run these the exact same way. I'm looking at my gas lines. Where does everything go? How does it all hook up? That's all, you know, important stuff to keep track of, because when you go to set it up, if you got them backwards or in the wrong place, the saw ain't gonna run. Pop my choke lever off the carburetor there, free that up. And we got our lever for our throttle linkage. Comes up and around over to this side. So we got to see how that comes out of there. Can't remember if it's this or if I got to fish it off the throttle itself, which I think maybe that's what it was. Get it off the trigger down here. Might need to do that, but let's see. Can we just pull it off first? Well, we can. All right. So that'll make it easier. Pull our carb off, take that linkage off. I'm gonna pull that linkage right out. Gas line just broke again. This stuff is not as brittle as some saws I worked on, but it's not any good. Getting dried out. Dried out junk. Dried out junk. Seals that are good, I'll probably just reuse, to be honest. Piece of line in there. Another piece of line. Go to pick the line up. It's just totally falling apart here. This kit that we got, if you guys end up buying the same one or another one, whatever, gives us fuel lines, gives us even a new carburetor, new gasket, fuel filter, air filter, primer, bulb, spark plug, okay? All for like, just call it 20 bucks. I think it was less than 20 bucks. So you're gonna need to make sure there's no fuel in it, for starters. All right, we've already got going here, but make sure there's no fuel in it. Then get yourself an Allen wrench. Or a T25 works as well. Remove the 4 screws here that hold your starter coil and all that stuff on there. We're gonna pull this guy off. All right, we're gonna set that aside. This is all, we're gonna clean all this stuff up. We might not even clean this whole thing up, to be honest. We may just get our lines of carburetor on and we'll clean that all up later, because we're gonna end up pulling this fully apart to get that motor out if we decide to port it. Primer bulb. Gas lines are falling apart. That's probably gonna be falling apart next. So you got a gas line that goes through to the tank there, and a line that goes down through to the tank there. I don't know if you can see those 2 spots down in here, down in here. So we're gonna have to run those lines up through. Dump those pieces out of here if we can. Crumbly pieces, crumbly pieces. All right, guys, so we're gonna start with our first gas line. Actually, it's a return line. It's in the top right corner down here, the hole. We've already pushed it all through now. And dumping out your tank, keep track of what falls out. This piece is part of that, okay? So I'm going to take our new line. We're not going to cut this any shorter. That's why we're going to start with this piece. And we're going to slim some of this line down. Probably, I don't know, wasting 1.5 to 2 inches. This is going to make it so much easier trying to fish your line through these holes that it barely fits in. Now, you could just drill your holes out, but boy, you run into the risk of things not sealing properly for later on. See what I've done? Got my gas line, cut it in about half. Now I'm going to attempt to fish that right down in there. Well, it's being a pain. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to make it into a point. Because once you can get it to start folding on itself, once you put it in there, it starts making it a little bit easier. Kind of just a point. Start working it in. These saws, they are a pain in the butt. I'm not a fan of doing this kind of gas line work. I don't care what model saw it is. It's just a pain. Push that down in as far as we can. And look down in here and see where it is. You can see it. I'm gonna try and see if our long nose pliers will reach. These might not be quite long enough. Sometimes you got to get in there and try to hook the line toward you. There, guys, I got a grip on that hose. I ended up using the Allen wrench, the long enough one to pull the hose forward and then grip it with the pliers. Sometimes that happens though, you rip your hose. Lay that hose out away from the hole straight. Just take your time. Gotta work it through. It's a pain in the butt. Doable process, though. It's doable. Okay. You can put a little white lithium grease on the hose as well to help make it glide through a little bit easier if you want. But once you get here, do your best. Cut a nice straight cut on the end. Try not to let go. Grab that little piece, pop that in the end of the hose. And we're going to go from the top side of the hose and pull it looking through, which is tough. Not going to be able to really show you guys, but looking into the gas tank, I'm going to pull that hose until that grommet just hits the top of the tank, right at the hole. If I pull it anymore, it might pop out or I might break the line. So that's where I want it to be. Remember, this is like a overfill kind of deal. It's going to put fuel back in the tank when you've put too much into the carburetor. So we'll measure out right here roughly. So right here I'm making a mistake. I'm cutting that line thinking it went on top of the carburetor. It doesn't. It should go straight across to where your primer bulb mounts. So measure that line all the way across to where your primer bulb goes. Keep it a little long and trim it way over there to the left hand side. All right, we got that line in the top corner done. We need to put the line in up here. That's going to be the shorter line that connects to the new fuel filter. Sometimes getting these fuel filters on these lines are tricky because these lines are so small. It's always a real pain in the butt. So we're going to see if it'll work better with the fat line, which it will. The problem is this hole doesn't usually accommodate for that fatter line. So we're going to make an adjustment. Go up to, I think this is an 8. This one doesn't have anything on it. Hold it up. Hose is still going to be a little bit bigger than the hole, which is fine because we want it snug. Again, cut this into, cut a slice off there so you can fish it through easier. So again, we're taking that hose, cutting it so you got about an inch and a quarter. That's kind of got that taper to it. Fish it down in there best that you can. Start working that hose in there. Nice and easy. Once you get that through enough that you can hold it, remember we're leaving that line as long as we can. Come through, cut a nice end. Put your filter on. Put that filter in your tank. And before I go yanking all that line back through, I like to make sure my filter is going to fit in my tank however I want. So right there, that length isn't bad. It's a good length. I'm not going to pull it through. I'm going to leave it. So got this line, this line. These are the two that sit in the tank. I'm going to put my new primer bulb on. We'll mess around with the other hoses after. The hose that we've already got in here, put to the lower connection of that primer bulb. I cut this line short, so like I said earlier, cut that a little bit longer. I got myself confused here walking you guys through, so I can admit it. If you cut this long enough, you put the hose on before you put the primer bulb in. Because that's even easier. Alright guys, so the next carb line we got to mess with is this one. It's going to go on the other spot for the primer bulb. Again, cut that lower line, put these on before you put that primer bulb in place and make life a little bit easier. But so it should go in the saw just like this. Longer neck on bottom, lower neck goes over to that front right corner. Top shorter neck is going to go to this line that we just popped on here. Okay, this line, let's get our piece here ready. Put this back on, put our seal on. This line is going to go on the left side of the carburetor, while this line is going to fish over and up to the right. So putting this one on top, that's the longer one. This line goes down to your filter in your gas tank. This one goes to the primer bulb. So pop that down on the lower neck here. Now, this new carburetor's setup is different. So if you're still using your old one, which we'll probably do a cleaning video and pop it on and try it in the future, it'd still be the primer bulb line on the bottom, tank line on top. Okay. Let's see if we can get this together here. See if everything fits. It's gonna move. You just checking because the carburetor is a little bit different, you know. Got to get our choke lever in place, but we're gonna wait before we put that choke lever in place. We're gonna need to grab our throttle linkage, fish that back through the black plastic throttle piece. Get it fished around here to the carburetor. Slide your carburetor back off, fish it through the side. Let's put our carburetor back on. Slip everything back. Take our choke lever. The choke lever's got to pop in here, but we got to tuck this gas line down underneath. And now look. Look. Not going to run, right? I've got that gas line pinched over that throttle rod. So we're going to need to undo that throttle rod and pay attention to where that gas line is when we hook it back up. We're going to see about bending that out. Just going to take some pliers. I'm going to take this and I'm going to try to bend it forward here a little bit. Who knows? Which might not work at all. Let's fish this back together. So in order to get this to work, you really gotta, this carburetor, you gotta bend it forward. So I got a link to this carb. Pretty sure it said it. Choke lever in, but we need to make sure that fuel line is tucked underneath. Line your choke lever up to the hole. Line your choke lever up to the hole on the side there. I'll just use the needle nose to pop it in. Everything works and moves. Hold it in place. Let's put our air box on. I decided I'm not cleaning nothing up. Flip this guy over. Well, let's take her out like this, throw some fuel in it, see if she starts. Another practice video of porting and polishing and building the muffler for it. So yeah, next video we'll clean it up, and honestly we're gonna tear it down. We're gonna get that motor back out, that new carburetor back off, that muffler off, and push it, clean it up, see what we can do, see if we can port, polish, and put a new exhaust on it. This is the one we've been running together with the tack on. We got some videos creating this exhaust. I have a different style exhaust in mind for this one that I want to do. It's not going to involve OEM muffler, so we're going to create something fresh. But yeah, I think before we get to that point though, we are going to have one more video. We're going to do stock Poulan 2150 cutting against ported and piped Poulan 2150 Predator. All right, we'll do a comparison video. We'll see if there's really a big difference, or if that just sounds cool because of the pipe. I mean, I did light port work. I only removed a little bit of material and then polished the inside of that. So I didn't go crazy because it was my first time, you know, porting out a saw. This one, I plan on removing a lot more material and just like pushing it and seeing if we blow it up, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at though. If you guys got a Poulan 2150 or saw that similar, hopefully it helped you out with the carburetor, you know, and gas lines. Obviously, I can't help if the carburetor doesn't fit, but I'm also not willing to send it back. I'd rather make it run. As you can see, if you can get that nipple down there, that neck bent just right, that linkage works, and she'll run. So hopefully you guys have good luck with it. Really do appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and check out that join tab if you want to buy me a coffee every month. Appreciate everybody watching. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. All right, threw some 50 to 1 in there. 6, starting to get some in. 7, 8. All right, that looks good. She's on full. Gonna squeeze the trigger, lock that in place. Let's see. Choke off. Not bad. She's a runner.